What's going on, everyone? Today I'm going to show you how to make a slap house bass in Vital in the style of Two Colors, but this is going to apply to the entire style of slap house because the bass line is going to be pretty similar every time. And you guys can download the 4 presets you heard in this, so the lead, the bass line I'm going to show you how to make, the brass stab, and the sub bass. I'm probably going to make a separate video on the lead and brass stab, but for right now you guys can download all 4 of these presets down below for free, plus a few others and some bounced out one shots of those presets. So check those out down below. With that said, let's get into it. All right, so first thing we cover here is pretty much the outline of the preset, and that's going to be the envelope shaping, the volume of the actual sound, and then a couple of other things too. So first, let's put one voice of polyphony down here because it is a bass line. If we have 2 voices or anything more than 1 voice, if we have that, some of the other notes might interfere with each other. They might run into each other, and we definitely don't want that if we're doing a bass line. But next, we can put the envelope. We can shape the envelope for the sound. So we can just put the sustain all the way down at 0. Take the release back a little bit because by default the release is kind of long inside of Vital, but it doesn't really matter. Put the decay back a little bit, and then now we're going to be set for the actual sound. One thing I do want to do though before we start, because it is pretty much the entire shape of the sound, is go to the effects. If we put a filter on here, we can put this to any dirty ladder digital. We can put these to 24 dB filter. Put the cutoff knob all the way to the left, cutoff slider, and then we could drag envelope 1 to the cutoff. And then now this is going to give us that shape. And if we don't have that filter there at first, it's just really not going to lead us in the right direction. So we could go back to the voice section, and now we can start to mess with some of the oscillators. All right, so first, a wavetable that I liked is the stab. It's in the factory bank. And if we put it up a little bit just like this, we can kind of get this shape. We can go down 1 octave on the oscillator, so we can hold shift, then on your mouse wheel, we could go up, down, the octaves. So 12 semitones is an octave, so we can go like that. Sounds pointless right now, but let's add a couple voices of unison, and we can add a little bit of detune as well. Then next, we can keep this same saw wave. We're going to keep that in there. We're going to route this to filter 1 because filter 2, we're going to have some white noise in here. And then we could put this all the way to the right, put the resonance down 24 dBs. And the reason for this is, like in the last video, in the last frequency styles video, we're cutting out the low end of that white noise because this is going to be used for something a little different than what you might expect. So right now we have this. There's still really not much of the sound we're getting here, but there's a couple of important things we're going to do. So first, we're going to do a little FM from oscillator 1. FMing it is just going to make it a little dirtier because we're kind of morphing it with the first oscillator. It goes a little deeper than that, but that's what we need to know. It's just making it a little dirtier. We could go around 34%, drag envelope 1 on there to give it a little bit of movement, and then we're good to go. You guys hear the difference? We're going to go back to the effects section, and then we're going to add a little bit of distortion right above the filter. I like Seinfeld, and we could put it around, just around right there. Let's put an EQ right after all that. We could do a little low cut because for some reason, it might just be me, but in Vital, there's a lot of low end buildup, like below 20 hertz, and it really makes the sound like crack for some reason. I might be doing something wrong, but for right now, we could just do a little low cut because I did have a separate sub bass in this song anyways, just to help support this layer. But we could do a little low cut. Do a little drive on the filter too. And then let's add a little bit of multi-band compression. This is just going to shape the sound further, but this is pretty much like OTT. And I think it just really brings out the sound a lot. It makes it a lot more even. So we can mess with the attack and release as well. I like to do that a lot. You guys hear how much of a difference that makes? Just makes it a lot cleaner, really nice. But that's really the main bulk of the sound. But there's one more trick I want to show you guys, which I have talked about before. If we go to envelope 2, then we could put the sustain. The sustain has to be really small. I'm talking like, there we go, 0.018. And then we can put the release down too. This is going to be a pitch envelope, and we're also going to put this on the white noise. And you might be wondering, why would we put it on the white noise? Because this is kind of emulating a little click. And then we can also do that in the pitch section. So we could drag that same envelope onto the transpose. And then I like to put macro 1 on that, and we can mix in how much we want. And then while we're in the advanced section, we could throw stereo unison down to 0, macro 2 on that. And then now we can really control how wide that Y layer is going to be. I absolutely love this because sometimes in some cases you don't want your bass lines to be pretty wide. Here we have a sub bass, so we can get away with like a wide bass. But if we kept it in mono like this, it still sounds pretty good. It sounds really weird, but it sounds really aggressive. But we can just drag this for however much we want. We can label it wide and we could kind of mix it in. And the final thing before I go, the final note, is how important these effects are. This distortion and filter. Here's the sound without it. That's what I'm saying. It's just a big wall of sound. We don't want that. That distortion gives it that character, that dirtiness, and then the filter is giving us that punch. It's shaping the sound a lot because we're putting envelope 1 onto the cutoff of that filter. Be sure to check out all those presets and a couple of others down below for free at klingmusic.com. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know what you thought and let me know what else you want to hear. I'm really trying to make a lot of free presets for you guys. With that said, I'll talk to you guys later. Peace out.